Go.
Okay. All right, so what we're gonna do with Lira is we're gonna do some work in the stall with the cavesson, and we're gonna work on her rhythm at the walk because she likes to not yield in her middle. She's had 3 babies, so you know she's not super in shape. She's like, how dare you say these things about me? But she has dropped a little bit in her lower or her back, and the hips are pointing down a little bit this way. So we're gonna work a little bit on creating a little bit of a yield here so that she can move her hips a little more underneath. We'll play around with that and see how far we go with it. So with the cavesson, you could do it with a halter too and clip the lead on the inside. Okay. So I'm gonna do a little bit of adjusting. So she's standing square, and I'm gonna move her back a little bit. So I'm gonna use the wall, good girl. So she kind of figures out how to lift again a little her front end, and then let her neck come out and down, good girl. And then from here, I'm gonna ask her to bring her nose slightly in so that we create a little bit of a stretch around. I'm not holding, just asking. And then if she looks away, then I gently encourage her to come around. So I would ideally like her to turn her head and keep it perpendicular to the ground. So my focus is in the ribs here, and then getting her to slightly turn her head. Good girl. But she has a little bit of a tip. So as I keep asking her to bring the head around, we want to see the tip go away more and more. Good girl. And then again, like she pushes in a little bit here with her jaw, which then drops the right ear, which creates the tip. So if we help her yield a little bit in the ribs, she can start to soften the inside of her body and then expand the outside of her body around that. So that's actually better. She's more perpendicular, so I'd like that. And then we'll go and ask her to walk, kind of creating that same, a little bit of a curve around. So when she's walking, I keep my hand close to the rib cage, and then every once in a while I might just gently ask the ribs to move a little bit over when her inside shoulder is back with my finger. But if I feel like she starts to rush, I'll take my hand away because she has a tendency to rush a little bit under saddle when you use your leg. So I'm trying to recreate her response to my hand, which is then in turn becomes the leg. Good girl. And then ask her to walk and yield. Left shoulder, left shoulder, left shoulder, yield. Good. And then we'll halt again. Good girl. Shift it back a little bit. Very nice. Not great, but better. Hind end is good. Front end not so much, but that's okay. Then we'll ask for a yield again. And then I'll go up a little higher with my hand and play around, and I'll go a little lower and try to play around with where the spot is that I can go and get the perpendicular flexion. Good girl. So it's a little bit more in through here. Girl. Girl. Yeah, I'm trying to let it go. She wants to lean into me. So releasing. Ellie, can you please stay out? Thank you. We'll go for a little walk transition. Trying not to lean into me. Curving around. Curving. Curving. Curve. Careful. Lean. Curve. Curve. Good job. Curve. Too fast. Good girl. Rushing. Girl. Good. Curve. Good. She's rushing again. Girl. There. Slow. See, the hind end buckles because the horse is leaning in forehand, which it means she's not releasing in the middle. So as you break down the pieces for the horse, you're trying to connect the hind end to the front end through a release in the middle and a soft yield around you. Nothing is held. Because eventually you're teaching the horse how to maintain that feel on their own and you not doing it for them all the time. Whip up in front means stop, shift back. Girl, not too bad. Then we'll go back to yield before we go. Good. There's where she's tight. Good girl. And you know, all horses are born with a similar imbalance, so this is very good for all horses, regardless of what age they are, because she's 16 years old. Good. Careful. Not slow it down. Slow it down. So I bring the whip up in front a little to bring her inside eye in, to slow her down, because if she looks in, she's actually curving around me and not leaning in her shoulders. Okay. And then we'll shift her back because the rib cage is coming into me. Again, we're going for that slight yield in the pole, reflection so it's slightly perpendicular, and then the rib cage to yield away, girl, which then helps the inside shoulder yield. Good. Stretch. Just stretch. Good. Because you see she wants to push her jaw into me, so that then means she's moving the rib cage into me instead of away from me. So as we kind of let her stretch her head down, then that helps her make room to then move the rib cage away from me. Girl. So I'm going for a little more stretch down so that I can help her release at the base of the neck, which will help her yield the left shoulder like that. And then that will help her yield her rib cage a little bit more and not rush. Then she starts to rush because she twists in the head. So then I stop, and then I go back, and then I ask for another stretch down and the curve around, and then a yield in the left shoulder. And I don't want this pushing into me. Nope. together. Let it go. Because once you can help the horse let these pieces release and shape themselves in a nice little curve around you, everything begins to flow, and then the body works in a balance together. So there's sort of an infinite energy that comes through. It's like a figure eight, and everything continues to flow. So when you tap into the ultimate balance for the horse, and ideally it's you're aiming for a horizontal balance, so the horse can slightly, be horizontal, but yet you have to have a curve on the inside, because without that slight curve on the inside, the horse will waddle from side to side. So you're always trying to keep the horse up and through and straight without waddling from side to side. And each horse is a little different, good girl, but they all have the same underlying issue. There, that was excellent. Excellent. There we go. Good girl. Super. Yeah, so I'd like to see a little more curve in her jaw away from me, but that's in her bowl, and that's where she struggles. So here she's rushing, so I'll half halt. Good. And then we'll go again. Slow. Super, not too much though. She wanted to fall into me. Here. Good. No, let it go. Careful, no. Now she's almost was gonna release her jaw, but then she didn't, and then she fell into me. So then we'll go down and in again. Create a little curve. Oops, sorry. Bonk you with the whip on your leg. Readjust here. So that remind her, how it feels to let the right side go, and how it feels to curve around, because this horse has been trained in the past, and if you don't maintain it, it doesn't stay. 3 babies later. Go. And then again. Soft. Down. Yield. Good girl. No. Down. Yield. Good. Soften. Good. Careful. Super. Good girl. You hear all her little pops going on. Slow. Good. Slow. Slow. Down and in. No, you're leaning. Okay. Good. Let it go. And it's interesting because as she goes to go around me, the eye wants to look slightly away from me, because the right side of the body wants to pull the horse back, which then pushes the left side in. So as I'm working with this, I'm also trying to, there's your release in the jaw, reconnect with the inside eye, so the inside eye pays attention to where I am, but I'm not pulling it, I'm drawing awareness into me. There she's falling. Girl. There she's arcing. There's your arc. Good job. Good girl. Good. There's your release in the jaw. Now we have a better arc. Careful. Come on, pay attention over here. Very nice. All little snap, crackles, and pops. Good. So sometimes horses pick up patterns of movement, you know, because of whatever, carrying babies, and they lose their optimum balance, and it's important that you remind them, you know, and be aware of how to help them maintain it. Good girl. Yeah. I think that's good for you today. Nice. Good job. Very good girl. Good job. You can keep recording because I want to see if she releases her jaw. Let me go to set her free. Set her free. And then I'll just hold my space for a minute. Same rules apply. Oh. Give it a minute. Let it go. That's it. So another thing, actually very interesting, we can kind of keep going on this. So when the horse is resisting a little bit or stuck on the right side, which usually they're stuck on the right side, which is why they're resisting. When I go to approach the horse's head, if the head goes away from me, then the horse is actually pushing its body this way and ready to leave and go the other way. So I move myself back here to be a little more in the position of her rib cage because her tendencies seem to be now that when I approach the head, she wants to look away. So these are other little things that you work on when you're with your horse and you pay attention to that. Hey, she doesn't care, she wants to eat. So like if I go to approach the head and she goes and looks away from me, then I have to fix that. That's an issue that I'm running into. So as I move back and position myself back here more, the inside eye starts to pay attention to me. So if I say, excuse me, I'm over here, good girl. And you know, that becomes a better relationship than her leaning the inside shoulder on me and walking in the other direction or looking in the other direction. So we'll have to play around with that a little bit. That'll be our next thing. Because she's like, I'm done.